Hey everybody, it's tafony here once again. Hope you're doing well. Today we were rambling about the X1L Shard. As they describe it, it's a harsh noise generator for power electronics, and it sounds like this. Alright, what is the Shard? So I feel like there's a lot of overlap and ambiguity intentionally in the X1L lineup with the Shard. I thought it was sort of like a glitchy VCO, and I mean it totally is, but I don't think of it as an oscillator. It is a harsh noise generator as they describe it. Now there's no manual. I don't think to be looking to this for specifics around every single different component I think would probably miss the point. So what the best way to do this I think is to just listen to it and go through it. Now, a little bit of context for this one. I'm not running it through any filter at the moment. I can bring in a little bit of low pass if we need to. I do want to trim that high end in cases where we start to get really crazy, but I'm actually going to use a decent amount of compression that you're hearing right now, just because I don't want to blow out the interface or your ears or mine, because it is very easy to do on here. Now, I'm trying to go for like as much of an init patch as possible, so let's start with that. So there's three oscillators on board. In the middle position, they are null. Notice that it doesn't say mute. As you hear right now, there's some crazy noise going on in the background anyway. To the left is the fragment mode, which is kind of like LFO mode, where we just sort of hear it popping. You wouldn't necessarily want to listen to that, but in context, it actually tends to work pretty well. And then to the right is the Shard mode. You get pitch here. And it doesn't really track volt per octave, they said. I am going to try doing that later in this video, but basically you get a pitch, there is a frequency input here over CV, and you get a level. Now, if you turn this all the way off, like everything on here, nothing really mutes fully. It's still kind of going even the level all the way down. As we've put null and that down, there's still some sort of noise bleeding through, which is fine. The idea is to basically run this through guitar pedals in my mind and wear a balaclava and smash it at the wall. But that's one. Here's the other oscillator. They do have different timbres to them. I don't know what's going on specifically. And the timbre also seems to change, at least in this configuration, between the low and the high ends too. Like it doesn't, I don't know. Right? So if we start at a level 2, it changes the timbre. I'm compressing it, but bringing down that low mode, it will get into audio right at the end. Very high pitch too. I don't know what's with that. Is it the same on the last oscillator? Let's bring up the volume. Pitch coming up. I mean, they sound similar in timbre, right? But again, the point isn't to like really drill down that stuff. It's kind of to do this. Now, I understand through reading the desktop versions manual and some of the things that were said online, these are kind of like, how do you say, like, there's some sort of unique VCA where these don't mix. It's not a sum. Afterwards, they're sort of fighting with each other, right? So when I crank these all up, I'll turn up the overall volume. When we crank these up, they're like fighting, right? Which is a sort of unique VCA, I understand, versus like being a sum. So frequencies can like win out. I don't really understand the specifics of it, but it does sound like this. If we crank them all up, put them all into the Shard mode. Put one into LFO mode. Just kind of make make it pop, put everything up to noon. And yeah, it's gonna get crazy today, folks. Here we go. The thing is, so let's send some pitch into this one. So the other thing is the pitch doesn't cascade, right? So like the different oscillators will be different too. So we can try and do some pitch tracking stuff here if we... I mean, it is tracking. Do that to the second oscillator? How does that work? They'll have different timbres, and I don't know if that's intentional. If we bring in the others as LFO, you can kind of just have them all. Make it crazy. Like I said, I guess you could mult it and try and send it all in. I mean, there is a little bit of regular mixing going on. Now, there's this disruption circuit, which is the touch plate. Let's take this out just to drone it and go. Maybe we'll just listen to one. It's so raw. But I don't know if each cell is like normal to something sort of how, I don't know, like the 100 grid is. And then I'm patching them to each other, but I don't know. Mayhem, madness, mass confusion. I haven't used this too much in my time with this thus far. I've been more interested in the other things. What you do have, though, is this Atropy circuit and a chaos switch. So Atropy circuit, so Exile likes to do sort of starving stuff, meaning in this case it's power to the circuit, so it sounds like that 9-volt distortion pedal dying. Sorry, I told you we needed compression today. But then there's also this charge switch, so you can momentarily bypass that Atropy basically and refill the circuit, I understand, so it'll go back to normal. So there's CV control. There's also this chaos switch, which will slew it. So when you hit charge, you notice it kind of goes back a little slower, right? At least if it follows the same way that it works on the desktop version, as it was mentioned in the manual there, which I do believe it does, but I mean, everything on here, to be honest, is kind of a guessing game, and that's okay. That's kind of the point, I think. Okay, so there's no clocked way to recharge it. It's just this physical switch. Interesting. Okay. Atropy in. So now my LFO is making the Atropy circuit kind of pulsate. And I mean, so we can do some pitch noise by kind of, we'll track volt per octave on the first oscillator and turn the levels way down on the other ones. Plus Atropy, so it's a little more musical. I mean, I do want it to kind of be like noise, right? That is not even tracking volt per octave closely at all, but I do want to just like, as a thought experiment, I guess, because this is sort of what led us to talking about this in the first place. I want to try and run this through a low-pass gate, as silly as that might sound. Yeah, let's just try and do that. So gate's coming out of my sequence into the excite input, and we're going to listen to that. So here it goes through steady state gate. And one of my tricks with doing noise stuff like this was to put it in bandpass mode, but I also don't want to lose out on that high-end roll-off. Oh, hello. Less Atropy? If I do CV over the level of the second oscillator, so... The thing, I'm not even convinced this is working, to be honest. Oh, maybe because it's an LFO mode. Hold on. I don't know if these oscillators are digital, analog. I don't know if they're even oscillators. What I do know is banging the snare drum against the table. Okay, maybe Atropy works as like an attenuator. Anyway. I'm not even setting a pitch. This is the Atropy circuit. This is the Atropy circuit doing its thing. Crazy. Anyway, interesting thought experiment that I wanted to try out. The real place where this one shines, though, I would say, is in the audio processing of other stuff. So, why don't we do just that? I want to send sort of a linear sequence of something, and I think it'll be, so if I send some audio into the input, this will bypass the onboard oscillators is my understanding, although if that is inaccurate, please correct me. I'm going to withdraw my low pass gate and send this directly in. Okay, sending this ultra kick in, and even in the most init state, it's applying some color. So it's basically, this blends in the original oscillator sounds with the kick sounds. So if you turn oscillators on, oh no, that's, I don't know. Trying to understand the Shard is a fool's endeavor, but the pitch applies. So that kind of tells me that there's probably LFSR stuff going on behind the scenes, because I can pitch it in different ways and blend it in. Comes that Atropy circuit. The thing I would say with this overall is you probably want to blend this elsewhere if you want to preserve some of the fundamental anyway. I don't know, let's do Atropy randomization. All the oscillators in. And this is what I'm talking about. Reverb's on now. I don't know, random into the fragment? I have no clue what's going on here, but I kind of like it. This is the importance of that compressor. Atropy down. If we just get into one oscillator, this help me. They have wildly different sounds. Right? Like that's oscillator 2. If we spread the pitch as much as possible, does it do anything? The confusion is fun. lots of reverb, sorry. I don't know, it's that Atropy circuit again. Chaos. Okay, put them all into LFO territory. Pitch them all the way down? I don't know. That's why I almost, like, I really want to blend this. You know, why don't I blend it? I don't know what's stopping me, huh? That'll help. So, yeah, I mean, the Chaos box leaves some mixing that probably will help it accentuate it. So here's the dry sound, the Shard. Let's just start with the Shard. So this will allow us to get even freaking crazier, so it comes through. Let's just get down to 1. I do almost feel like you should be randomizing that pitch. Just to really make it glitch out, right? So there goes random into that, so it just gives us a little bleeping and blooping. You know how we love that around here? Let's do that to, I don't know, the level of the second oscillator? And I'll manually control this. Yeah. So here comes the dry. And the Shard. And dry. Yes. It does make me wish there was a blend on board, but you know what, when you do it elsewhere, it sounds really good. Take out the input. It's not your everyday distortion. Bypassing the charge, bypassing the Atropy by recharging it. One oscillator. What is happening? Still not sure I understand this freak or frog or frag. Freak, frog, frag, whatever. The randomness of the Atropy effect. Yes. More reverb. Just weird little demonic melodies coming in on top. Yeah. Take out our drum completely and just drone it. Hey, I'm Tafony. Thanks for spending some time with the Shard and I. Take care. Like, comment, subscribe. And I'll talk to you soon.